Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic episode of Keeping It Geekly. It's your Cape Crusader, Cody, and we're hanging out with our new guest, Doug Marcaida. We're here to break down Lineage Issue 1 and everything in between. And man, I looked at some of these interiors, and like I said, backstage, we had a chance to talk about your impressive knife collection. And I am excited to dive into everything that went into this book. But first and foremost, Doug, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here on the show.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I have you down being a martial artist expert, an edge weapons expert, the judge on Forged in Fire, and so much more. Where did this lifestyle begin for you? This sounds like a dream for probably about everyone else I know.
Well, this whole thing started when I actually migrated from the Philippines to the US. I joined the military and I got back into my martial arts, passion for martial arts. And what I was doing then was I used to kickbox. I did some, street fighting back home, karate, taekwondo. These are the classical arts. But I never studied the Filipino martial arts back then because I thought it was just an art for criminals who carried blades. But I also had a fear of blades. So I never wanted to do anything like that. It wasn't until I was back in the, in the military and I was training with my friends that I finally stumbled into an art that I love, because we were just kickboxing and I love the way he was so fast with his hands. So I go, I want to learn this. And he goes, yeah, it's called Kali. Ooh, Kali, that's cool. I'm like, it's Filipino. I'm like, no, I'm Filipino. What are you talking about? I've never seen it. Oh, it's a scream on our knees. I go, oh, here, it's a weapons art. It's that stuff. But I don't want to do the weapons. I just want to learn how to use my hands and kick and everything else. And he goes, well, if you want to learn that, learn the weapon first. But then I was totally, I had my phobia of it. But because we're friends, martial arts is a group, it's a community. We're not fighting each other. We're learning to train each other. You become my brothers and sisters in arms. So we start off, when you see Filipino martial arts, you start them training with sticks. Well, he goes, I'll guide you. Afraid of a stick? No. Okay, we'll guide you. It's like a sword. But slowly, little by little, I started to learn the art. And we transitioned to the blade. And before you know it, I faced my fear. I was liberated. All the fear that I had about it was all in my head from my past. And then I became addicted to it. So all throughout my life, when I got out of the military, I got into the medical field. I never gave up training. I kept teaching it on my own studio, my own backyard. So much so that a lot of my students were instructors with the military, were instructors already in law enforcement, that they came to me and said, hey, can you help us create some programs? Sure. So I went to get training from my teachers. I traveled to Southeast Asia, to the Philippines, Indonesia to learn more. I brought it back with me. We created the programs. I never gave that up, but I always recorded everything that I did. I was celebrating my art. So much so that later on, I started doing seminars all over the world that Fortune Fire was looking for basically a end user. And they found me on the internet. I was already I left my job in a medical field to pursue a contract for combatives. I was a military contractor for military combatives, knife combatives. That when I left, I was ready to do that full time, but then Fortune Fire was there, and then the rest is history.
And I mean, being offered that had to have been such a dream come true. To take your crafting expertise and take it to the next level, that had to have been such an awesome experience.
Oh, without a doubt. It's almost like full circle. I call it my cycle of knife, like the cycle of life, right? I first learned to face my fear of the blade, and then I got into learning how to use the blade, learning how to defend against the blade, and then I started designing weapons based on the skills that I have. But when I designed them, I had them manufactured. Then came the show where I actually saw how they actually forge the blades. And then I learned about the cultures, the different cultures and history of the blade. And the full circle is now I'm telling the stories about the blade. So it's been a blessing.
And for everyone that is watching, Doug, I know you can't see it right now, but on the animated screen, we do have a cover of Lineage Issue 1. Doug actually made that knife. He has it. Let me hear. I'll zoom you in a little bit so we can get a larger look at it. Yeah, this thing is sick. That is awesome.
See it right now?
Yeah. What went into the design of this thing?
Okay, so I'm known to be a karambit practitioner, right? It's one of the blades that's from Southeast Asia, started with Indonesia. The Filipinos have adopted it. So it's one of the blades I am very much passionate about. So in my design of this particular blade, this whole story about lineage that you see in the same cover over here.
Yep.
I mean, it's a story about brothers. It's a story about a family that was in the Philippines, because I brought my own culture. I want to talk about what I knew. So I talked about the immigrant story from the Philippines to the US. The brothers were there, but they were trained by their father, who was part of a cult. And all of a sudden, as the boys are training, it was wrong to bring in the young kids at that age to be knife training. One of them had a temper. Well, whatever happened was a demon came in and killed their father. Uncle takes them, sends them over to the US away from the cult. They're saved. Well, as young adults, now the older brother Miguel, he has recurrent nightmares of the time when he was training over there, and this demon always challenging him and facing him and haunting him in his dreams. The only thing he has tied from his past is this blade, the very blade I'm holding, right? And that blade now, because he remembers using it, being taught how, but to him, I don't want to remember all that. It brings back so many bad memories. So now I just have it's like a trinket that I have. I just open boxes and everything else. I don't want to know about the past. I'm trying to avoid it. His younger brother doesn't remember much about it. So he's trying to now learn everything to find the same blade that his brother has. What does he do? He does TikTok. He has his own show on The Verge. His name is Virgil, right? And he does all these paranormal researches to find the very same blade, because they became estranged. Well, in one of the days that Miguel, the older brother, was tuning in and saw a piece of the TikTok thing that he was doing, he saw an emblem of their past behind there. And this just triggered that my brother's in danger. I remember all that. Rushes out there. His brother, while he was doing this, saw all this. He got spooked. He got out of there too. Well, he fast forward, he goes to his apartment. They're there and they're arguing. What the hell do you want? Leave the past alone, says the older brother. Younger brother goes, hell with that. I need to find out about the blade. I want to know, because you're not sharing any of that. The brother goes, there's a reason for that. Well, lo and behold, the very demon shows up, trying to attack the brothers. And as the demon shows up to attack the brothers, the younger brother just wants to fight back. The older brother is shocked. But then as soon as the demon attacks his younger brother, the older brother comes in to protect him. He feels the blade. And out of instinct, he just slashes across. Well, the demon gets cut. And all of us, he's shocked. I'm like, wait, it can be cut. It can be killed. Then they started remembering the training they had with their father. The training for such things like this, the group training that did. So he asked his brother, do you remember our father's training? He goes, yeah. And they started doing the ritual incantations and movements, and they fought as a unit, and then they were able to kill the demon. But when they did that, they saw that this demon is not a demon. It's just a man wearing a mask with a knife. And that's where they were shocked. And now all of a sudden, they are ready to go back to their past to find out the truth for the present, to be able to move forward. That's issue one. That's what it's all about. But here's the kicker. In this comic book, you see it's a story about the brothers, but what people don't know, so when you see it printed in red and black, that is the blade telling the story.
Oh, that's cool.
This story belongs to the blade. It's just saying, hey, well, I'm a blade. Oh my gosh, I'm trapped in this blade. But I was used by these two boys, and he's a witness to everything. It is the blade story. Hence the word lineage, because after this, you have the lineage of the brothers and going back to the past and everything. But the blade is just the witness finding everything that's going on. That's the kicker there. That's what's different. And that's what I get from Forge and Fire also. I design a lot of blades. When I put my blades out there, I often wonder who's using it. In what manner are they using it? And I hopefully one day it can come back and tell me how it's being used. Hence, that's the unique way of telling my story. And this is just issue one.
I think it's so cool because the passion that you have for this is just, it's awesome. I really loved how in depth you go with the story with the blade and the point of view. I thought that was a really interesting concept as well. One key point too about these blades, they aren't straight, and that if I'm recalling correctly from the video, it's the curvature adds like a claw effect to it.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
But for the karambit, they are curved blades. You can wear underhand or overhand. It's like a claw, right? But that's the nature of that particular blade. But in issue 2, more of my designs are coming out like a straight blade like this. So this is my other design I've released. It's called the Battle Bolt, but it's also going to be part of the story. It's going to make a cameo, but not to mention, because I have other places to use, another one, my Tomahawk. is going to be used in there too. So like, I'm making a cameo. Well, so am I. So how about it? Well, you know what? I really like being used by the snake. Well, the crocodile guy is going to use because of my spine. You see that? So we kind of match them like, you guys really enjoying yourselves? Yes, we are. Okay, sit back.
So,
but yeah, I mean, every blade has a story to tell.
How do you find which blade to tell the story of? Like, do you
Inspiration
have like favorites
from the artist? So when the artist drew, because you see, the first issue is all about just what's going on, an introduction, and an introduction to a thriller. You know, because when you see the artwork and everything else, it's to uncover something. The whole point about the way I do my martial arts, okay, Filipino martial arts, start there, because this is basically related to my martial art, to my comic book writing. We train with sticks, right? But the stick is a metaphor. Nobody carries sticks. But can you see the screwdriver in this? Can you see the hook? Can you see the karambit in this if you hold it this way, right? Or if I hold it this way? Is it all here? Can I see something that's flexible, that's rigid and everything else? So it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Once you can see anything beyond normal perception, you become creative. In the beginning, I work with a short sword, long sword, small knife, curved knife, all these kind of blades as a system. But when you start to truly understand the art, you realize these are all tools, not weapons. There's only one weapon, me. I am the weapon. Doesn't matter what's in my hands. If I pick up something, if it's pointy, it can stab. If it's edge, it can lacerate. If it's hard, it can do impact. I look at the attribute. I can take a toothpick and make it dangerous because it's what I do with it. I am the weapon. Now, if I can see all those metaphors, then so can my stories be on this comic book. At first, it's a story about a knife telling its story. Then it's about the brothers facing their fears. I had to face my fears in life to be able to get through it. What is fear? False expectations appearing real. But when these brothers started to face their fears, they realized sometimes it's not the external things that are the demons. It's what's in your head. We can create monsters in our memory. And until you're able to go back in time and face your fear, you start to realize, oh, I was just a kid and what I saw made me believe it this way. But as an adult, go, oh, no. Let's look at it from a point of view where I'm not scared. I'm really interested in finding out. Oh, it's not what I thought it to be. But it's also another human story where the brothers come together in adversity. I mean, in unity, they start to heal together. That's one of the things you do when you're training with someone. The Brotherhood of the Blade is the title of the first book. And what happens there is you have all these life stories that, for me, is the way I do my martial arts, is the way I do my comic books, the way I design my knives. They're all related. So there's a lineage there. The lineage is all connected. But what makes this unique is that in book 1, we have 4 issues, Brother of the Blade. And you'll see a mark there. That's a very important thing with the mark. Because at the end of book 1, the blade dies. And the soul will be reincarnated in another era, another country, another blade. And its story will continue. Hence,
I love that.
Lineage, right?
I love that. So have you written, scripts before, or was this kind of your first dive into creating a comic book?
Comic book wise, my first dive into it. I've had this story for 15 years. This story of mine, because I am a motivational speaker and I tell a lot of stories. And one thing I know is that talk from experience and you'll never go wrong. So this is a story that I have from all my teachers telling us our campfire stories, or when we're together, and all the different stories of different kind of blades we studied with, and the cultures we had in the Philippines, the mysticism about it, the superstitions. They had my teachers, as good as they were with the blades and everything else. Majority of them did black magic. They had powers in their blades. They had amulets. They had these prayers, oraciones, and all these things that they wore around them. And I'm like, is that going to defeat the blade? Well, in their eyes, yes. And these are men who could totally dismantle me in a second. They believed in that. So it told me something, right? I'm a Westerner. I'm like, well, I'm a Christian too. I don't want to delve and go to the higher levels. You will learn this. No, I won't. I'm good where I am. But I appreciate the stories. I appreciate the story.
Yeah.
And that's why when I put it all together, I'm bringing it all that. Because in many ways, when you delve into your art that much, like my classes were 6 hours long. You know how exhausted we are? First 3 hours are just, and we train in the dark. We train with drum music, with fire and everything. It's a cult. Later on, when I was much older, I look back and go, that's cultish behavior. That's why I brought in the idea of a cult where these brothers came back, because I related it to that. Then I found cosplay in San Diego Comic Con and go, well, there is a connection with that too, because it's the cult of cosplay. It's all connected. The mask, the wearing. How do you evolve? How do you change the minute you put a costume on? So much to talk about. But, that's why I'm excited about this. I know it's a good story. I've been working on this for 15 years. This is why I know it's a good story. It's been told and retold so many times that everyone that's been involved love it, because it'll be better if you do it this way. So it's already been refined. Now I wanted to make sure that I can share it and leave it behind for everyone to enjoy.
I love that so much. And you were mentioning earlier, some of these weapon inspirations came from the artist. Who's all involved in the collaborative process with your book?
Yeah. So we'll start out with Kid Heroes with Patricio Ginelsa. He's the guy who put everything together. He brought in two writers. We have Earl Bailon and Justin Keyson, who really helped. I had the skeleton outline, but they really made it something to where it makes sense, because it's like I tell my stories, but there are plot holes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, how convenient that happened there, Doug. How convenient. How do we make that plausible and something relatable to everyone? It's got to be relatable to you, because if it's too much of a fantasy, if I can't relate the human story, I'm like, I don't see it. I am much more about the story than action. I always wanted the story, because then nothing beats your imagination. But comic book, you put in this beautiful art. So they took in Felix Morales from the Philippines, who's an up-and-coming artist. Now, I don't know whether he's good or not. I was never into comic books. I grew up in the Philippines, in a third world country. I couldn't afford comic books. But my friends that had connections in the US and had that, they had them. So I'd like sneak peek and enjoy it. But I even know there were issues. Fast forward, now that I'm here, I truly appreciate that. Whether my artwork was good or not, I didn't know until someone beside me at a panel in San Diego Comic Con told me, you have a good artist there. I go, thank you. And I'm looking at his work. Yours are pretty good too. They're kind of comparable. Yeah. And then the guy turns out to be no other than the legendary Will Sportasio.
Wow.
How do I know that? I didn't know how, because I'm not in the comic book world. And for him to say it's a good comic, but I'm like, later on when I found out, I'm like, whoa, I was sitting beside a legend. I didn't understand it, but we share a lot of same stories. He grew up in the U.S., went to the Philippines to find his identity and came back. I grew up in the Philippines, went to the U.S. and found my identity too. So we're crossing paths. That's why we share that commonality. But I would love for him to come back and do this. Like I said, this is just book one of my culture. Once the blade travels to another dimension or era in time, there's more art to be told, more stories to be told.
Oh, I love that. That is cool. So what's the collaborative process look like? I know you said you had a lot of the skeleton laid out. Did you have a lot of ideas that, you kind of wanted the artist to follow through with, or were they able to have a little bit free reign with what they're designing?
We started off with, this is a beautiful thing, right? So I told him, okay, so for example, if you look at this comic art here, there's a big bad guy right there. The artist, Felix Morales, put the skull on him. I didn't ask for that. But the skull that he chose is a skull of a carabao, which is our water buffalo. He made it so cultural and so real that I was blown away. I called him up in the Philippines. I'm like, who are you? Well, I'm an adventurer. I trek around. I'm not just an artist. I go in so many places. He understands the culture of the Philippines. He goes to different tribes. Like if you look at this, I at first when I look at the design of this blade, I was thinking, it looks like more like a crocodile scale. He goes, no, you look at it the wrong way. If you look at it like this, and then you see the little dots there, they're like men holding each other, like stick men holding hands.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, that's a real tattoo. He actually has it on his body, and he actually has this famous tattoo artist who's 109 years old from the Philippines do that to him. And I'm like, I see it because, like you said, lineage. So it's about holding hands and passing on your stories, passing on your soul, passing on your everything about it. It's just hand to hand, passing it all the way through.
Wow.
And when I talk to him, I'm like, tell me more about this. He goes, nothing in the artwork is by accident. It's all thought of, that it's all connected. The only thing that's not that he needed help with was the martial art action. He's
Which
not
you had him in aces there, huh?
Yeah, but that's me. So
Yeah.
what I did was I took my brother and we trained, and I did all the techniques with knives and everything with him. I recorded it and I sent it to him because I told him, I don't want to see Superman punch or Hulk smash or that. That's
Hmm.
not what I do. I want you to watch these videos and take clips where I will, as a practitioner, recognize the move, recognize how it's done,
Yeah.
how the slashing. I mean, obviously in the picture it'll be like this, but then if you put the motion capture of that and the motion of this, all these things, then I'm like, that's cool. I want that.
I
So-
mean, holy crap! The choreograph, like the fight scenes in this book, is next level, and I love how much work and detail has went into this. Real quick, we are joined by a couple friends over on Twitch. We have our good friend Luis, Silverbolt, and Tipsy Pickle. Guys, if you're watching, right here is a link to what we're talking about right now, Lineage Issue 1, and other books too. We have a Kickstarter going live in a few days, so you can hit that link and be sure to get your pre-orders in. So, Doug, I think right now would be a perfect time. We'll pull up some of the past campaigns to get a look at some of these interiors, and then you can tell us what to expect with the campaign that's going to be dropping soon.
All right. So with a lot of this, and this happens very much in the Kickstarter world about comic books, right? When you're an early bird, they start to give you all these different levels. You get the artwork, the digital copy that is, you have a virgin copy of the digital work. You also have what we're going to create also are metal cards that we're going to give out. And if you're going through, ask me a lot, that's one of my designs, a carambol, that we started to do that the first time. And then as we're going higher in the different levels, we'll give you an actual working. Oh, this is the red foil version of the artwork where it's shiny like a foiled cover. This is all the stuff that I didn't know about comic books, and collectors.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you're going through with the different levels, everything that I get, I will sign for you and dedicate to you. This is like our splash page of the brothers training. That's one of the options. Also, there are so many different levels.
You choreographed this part right here.
Yes, that's taken
so
from
cool.
a video. That is
so
taken
cool.
from a video of our drills and of the brothers training when they were young. And then later on, we just keep on adding things. You see, as a designer, this is the cool splash page of that big, bad guy there wearing the skull who was a demon to him. But until he found out, no, you're just a freak, and I can defeat you. So you get your confidence level back. And then we move forward.
I love how detailed it is too. Like you have this initial scene, and then you have the outer splash of the detailed face.
Yes.
Very gorgeous.
There are so many Easter eggs on this. So many. That's why when I get back to tell you about the word lineage, I want you to keep going back so the stories are the brothers who keep going back to the past to find out answers. I want you to keep going back to the past of this comic book, and you'll see more and more every time. You will see more because I will reveal more if it's not found by you. And then this is one of the cover artists by Raymond Lee that he created. You have the ancestors in the background. You've got the demon that's going after them. You have the brothers and the memories they have of actually fighting with each other and training together. And of course, I being the author, they threw my face in there. No, I didn't that. But and then you have the blade that's telling the story.
I think it's so cool, the hands connecting. Like the level of depth to this is just remarkable.
Mm-hmm. And you have, of course, some people who collect the virgin copy, just clean, so you can see all the artwork without the print. And this is it once again, the red foil version, which is kind of cool. It's so reddish and blood red. And then to the next level, and this is the metal cover. So this is a metal cover of the front, and depending, and once again featuring the blade.
Any special symbolism with the 3 dots right here?
Yes, 3 dots are the 3 that's who had the father, son, and the 2 brothers.
Oh, that is awesome! I love it. Yeah, it's all just connecting like so perfectly.
Yep, it's all connected, and of course, this is by Figure X, who's a toy maker, and he makes figurines, collectibles. And so these are the different things that he was creating. That's the art that he created. And we're also going to have figurines of the characters from the comic series. So we have figurines from the comic series, but we also have the real blades, right? So this one right here is the blade that you saw, the Marcaida, but it's all aluminum and shiny. So that's one of the things you can get from that. Almost like a trainer, right?
That's
And then, of
awesome.
course,
Is it going to be sharp, or is it going to be a little bit of a dollar blade?
That one particular is sharp, so it's still kind of like, pointy, too pointy. But we're gonna remedy that. But on its own, people love stuff like that for the shininess of it. It's basically just like, I treat it just as like as dangerous as a knife. And then you have the blade here itself.
Oh yeah, this is
hero
gorgeous.
blade that we put together. And this was all for the backers for Kickstarter one. But here's the most important thing, right? Are we back? And now, of course, the metal cards that we're going to have, and we're going to have a new design for Kickstarter too. And that's all signed. So these are collectible metal cards too.
Yeah, and then here's oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. And that's one of the other, look at the artwork, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the colors to those pencils, and it is gorgeous. Yeah, this coloring is gorgeous as well. Is the artist handling the coloring as well?
Yes.
You got lucky with the artist. I mean, finding one that is so detailed and then like looks into the culture of what they're working on is remarkable.
Like I said, I'm just blessed, man, when I work with these guys. I mean, it's meant to be. Like I said, maybe that's the reason why it took 15 years to get it done. This started something that I was going to do with Fortune Fire too, and that was originally, this whole thing's supposed to be a TV series. But things happened in 2020. Things happen everywhere that it changed. There's another artwork by the cover. Raymond Lee put that artwork together.
Yeah, this is gorgeous. So you said this was supposed to be a TV show?
Yeah, and then we put it. We got it all copyright, rather protected and everything else. Then my producer, COVID hit, and then my producer left the show. That was going to do this with me, and he, some of them have actually left the field of filming. So I'm like, I'm not going to wait for this to happen. I'm just going to put it in print.
I love
so
that.
I found that's why I'm doing this, because if I don't, then what do I have to leave behind? You see, Cody, one of the things I do is I am on the last quarter of my life. So being on the last quarter of my life, it's time for me to leave behind everything that allowed me to shine. So I'm teaching my martial arts series. I'm teaching all my knowledge that I got from my teachers. I'm handing it down, which is from my lineage. Now, when I'm doing that, so will come with that my stories. So in a way, what I'm doing right now is giving you a lineage to me, because I can't take it anywhere. So might as well leave it for someone to pick it up and continue on. So with the stories. Now, crowdfunding. I am not one to ever ask for anything without giving anything back in return. So I said, I designed blades. What's going to happen? We have also the training versions to be safe, right? This is actually a trainer too. So what's going to happen with that is, when you are part of crowdfunding, you will forever be part of the people who made it happen.
Awesome.
So let me explain this. When I had this idea about my last part of my life, I'm doing a Karambit Unleashed series, right? With another, it's a legacy series. I wanted to do something to where I am creating something right now where my great grandkids are going to see it. It's for them, not for people around me, not for that. It's for them. I will be gone, but I want them to say one day, hey, do you know Lineage, that Doug Marcaida? That's my great grandfather. And did you know, and I want somebody else to come in, hey, do you know that awesome Lineage thing, like Star Wars, right? That was created by number 5 right there, John Smith. That's my great grandfather.
That's awesome.
And that when you are part of this crowdfunding, not only will you be part of the history of this forever, but you can also have this or this to hand over down to your great grandkids. And in so many ways, you are creating your own lineage. You are passing down a comic book with your name. You are passing down the blade that you got from the comic book. That's what lineage is all about. It keeps on going. It's not just one and done. So when you're part of the crowdfunding, you are like at the start of it all. And then who knows where it's going to be. Remember, you're signing up for this, not for yourself, but for your great grandkids who one day will pick it up and go, this was handed down to me.
I love that. For everyone that is watching, right here is a link. Check that out. The Kickstarter will be going live in a few days, and you can get hot on the press with the pre-orders. If you're unable to back it, put that wherever you can. Facebook, Twitter, word of mouth is 100% free. and getting the word out is just as important. So, Doug, we were talking a lot about lineage and passing things down. I think you will love this next part of the show. We always wrap things up with just 2 more questions, a piece of advice and what you're up to outside of creating. So for the new writer out there, because everyone has a story to tell, for the new writer out there struggling to get their story out, what would be your biggest piece of advice to help them push through?
You have to be very proactive. You have to get up and get out of your head. A lot of times we become hostages because we're thinking, well, I don't know this, I can't do this, I can't do that. When you hit the market there, you put yourself out there, you will start to meet people that can help you. People cannot help you, they don't meet you. So you have to put yourself out there. When you put yourself out there, a lot of times it's scary. Will I be turned down? Do they like what I'm doing and everything? Who cares about that? Take your control. When you put it out there, be proud because you know the value of it. Now, when you put yourself out there, that's when people can come over and make it happen with you, help you out, and create it to make it better. But until you do so, you will never be heard of. You will never get it done if you're so afraid about doing it on your own. So just do it and get it out there, and things will happen.
I love it. That's some awesome advice. Last but not least, what are you up to outside of creating? I know you have to be a pretty busy individual, but are there any TV shows that you're watching, any books that you're reading?
Well, I'm in the process of doing my Karambit Unleashed. So if you want to see what I'm doing, I'm actually teaching this blade and this tomahawk and how to use them in my martial arts series, right? So I'm starting that out in Florida, end of March. Just go to karambitunleashed.com so you can see this in action. I just don't design it. I teach you how to use it too. It's part of my art form, right? We're kicking out the Kickstarter this Monday. And then I have a big event, Fortune Forge with Fire event in Cooperstown, New York, happening in July that we're working on. Which has everything to do with fire, knife show, pit fire foods, all this other stuff. So if you follow me on my social media pages on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube under Doug Marcaida, you'll find me there, and I hope you enjoy my silly videos because I enjoy making people smile.
No, that is awesome. Luis coming in saying he's so inspirational. I agree. Doug, after just chatting with you, this has been such an awesome sit down, and I'm motivated to get out there and do some script writing myself, I think.
I got a question for you, Cody. Have you read my comic book yet?
I haven't had the opportunity, but I'm looking forward to backing it when the campaign goes live.
Good, because I would like to come back on this show and go page by page, and I'll ask you about, I want to share with you the story. I want you to be part of that. And that way, once you start reading, I want you to go oh my gosh, like just earlier, as soon as you realize anything in red and black ink is told by the blade.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah.
And later on, because why is it marcado? Marcado is the word marked one. Oh, is there a mark on this blade? And then when you look at what's this all about? Is that from Doom? No, actually, Doom learned Filipino martial arts when they go, may your blade shatter, right? That's foul that we do. That's probably because they studied Filipino martial arts for that show. But all these things, I would love to really share with you because you have an audience and you are in the comic book world. And I want to see if you are getting what it is that I see. What do you see from my comic book? Because the story is going to evolve. Eventually, I want to have such a following that everybody would like to say, hey, about that character, why'd you kill him off? Can you change it? Okay. Because that's where we're headed. Where we're headed.
I would love to make it happen. So everyone watching, stay tuned for that too. I think it'd be a great opportunity to kind of dissect it page by page.
Yes, because all the Easter eggs that are hidden in there, if you only knew. And here's the thing. I've learned to come back. Lineage means going back in past to look at old things, right? To make it new again. How many times do you go back? I've read this story at first. It's about the blade telling the story about the brothers. Now it's something about a life lesson. Face your fear and it'll go through. A lot of the monsters we have in our head are only in our head. In reality, they're not monsters. You have to look at it from different points of view. And the more knowledgeable you get about things, the more you realize this monster here is only this small. So it's a life story. And that's how all the stories are. Because when every blade is telling a story, it's just a witness. It could be telling a human story, right?
I love that, yeah. That is so cool. Well, Doug, thank you so much for swinging by. Everyone watching, there is a link to get your pre-orders in. And if you're unable to back, put that on Facebook, Twitter. Word of mouth is 100% free. I hope you all have a lovely Saturday, but most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.